Clutch Sports Talk. Let's go. What's up, everyone? It's me, your boy Ryan Flowers, aka Clutch Sports Talk in the house. Happy Monday to you guys, man. You guys know what it is, man. It's another edition of Clutch Sports Talk Live. Tonight, we got a great show in store for you guys tonight. College football, man. Breaking news yesterday. Lincoln Riley left Oklahoma to come to USC. What does that mean for that program, that historic program that's been pretty much trash the last couple of years? Also, Jim Harbaugh and the University of Michigan finally, it took them, 10, 11 years. Denard Robinson was the last quarterback to beat Ohio State. Let that sink in for a minute. So congrats to them. Also, are the New England Patriots the best team in the AFC? And should they have Super Bowl on their mind? I'll give you my thoughts on that. And finally, the best two teams in the NBA right now, by far, it's not even close. The Golden State Warriors and the Phoenix Suns. So challenge me if you think I'm wrong. Let me know. But anyway, so sit back and relax and enjoy the show. This is Clutch Sports Talk Live with me, Ryan Flowers. Let's go. Welcome in, everyone. Hope you guys are doing well. It's Monday. Time to get back in the saddle. As usual, I have another stupendous, yes, I'm busting out the vocabulary today, a stupendous show for you guys tonight. Hey, if it's your first time watching me, man, I appreciate you. If you're a reoccurring viewer, hey, man, welcome back, and I appreciate everyone. Hey, if you haven't already as well, subscribe to my YouTube channel, man. You can catch all of my episodes and anything else that I put out there. It's all on my YouTube channel. You just search Clutch Sports Talk. I'm the first thing that you see there, man. It's real simple. Go ahead and hit that page up right now or after the show. I appreciate that. And if you're in the room right now, make sure you drop a comment, even if it's just to say, what's up, man? How you doing? Love the show, hate the show, whatever it is. We can talk about it there in the comment section. So, but hey, again, welcome in. It's Monday, and that means it's Clutch Sports Talk Live with me, Ryan Flowers. We're going to get the show rolling right now. Let's get it going. So, if you haven't heard, I don't know if you don't watch the news or follow your phone, but Lincoln Riley, the former head coach of the University of Oklahoma, Boomer Sooner, has decided to part ways, and he has left Oklahoma to leave for the West Coast, the Pacific Coast of University of Southern California. Trojans fight on. Now, as I won't say local, but I was born in LA. I was old enough to be around those the early 2000s USC Trojan football teams with Pete Carroll, Reggie Bush, Matt Leinart, man. And ever since, Pete Carroll left and the whole scandal and everything went down there, USC really has been like in this black hole of college football. Lincoln Riley surprised everyone. Now, deep down, probably USC had been working on this coup to get him to LA. And it came out of nowhere because a lot of people did not think that he was going to be leaving Oklahoma anytime soon, especially because he was so adamant not that long ago in regards to the LSU job being vacant. And he said, no, I am the coach. I'm not interested in the LSU job. I am the coach of Oklahoma. Well, that was short-lived. In the back of his mind, he's like, dude, I'm out of here. I don't know the specific money in regards to the deal he's going to be getting, but it has to be a sweet one. I mean, no offense to Oklahoma. I've never been to Norman, but listen, LA, Norman, Oklahoma, look, LA's got the bright lights. It's got celebrities. It's got some of the biggest stars that have come through here. You've got the Dodgers that have won a World Series. You've had the Lakers that have won recently, NBA Finals. You got all these other aspects out here. Why not make the move? Now, a lot of people are saying, well, this is kind of a punk move for him because he's afraid of competing in the SEC because Oklahoma and Texas is slated to move to the SEC in the next couple of years, and he probably didn't want to be around for that. Well, let's think about that, right? I don't think it's a punk move. I'll put that out there right now because here's the thing. Why would you want to go somewhere where for the most part you're going to be third, fourth fiddle in regards to programs, not even program, just coaching? I mean, Nick Saban is king of the SEC. LSU is going to get it right at some point again. And you have all the other SEC teams that are kind of jockeying in the middle. Florida maybe might turn it around sometime. Texas A&M, it seems like they're getting closer and closer each year with Jimbo down there leading the way there. So I don't think he's running from the challenge. I think he just understands, like, listen, I don't want to be in the SEC. I'd rather stay in the Big 12, right? But that's not going to happen. And if I'm going to continue to be an Oklahoma football coach, then I'm going to have to be in the SEC. Why make things harder on myself when I can just simply go to a conference, which really, honestly, no offense to Oregon, but it's dying of a new team. Utah's nice. Don't get me wrong. That's a solid team. But do we really consider Utah a national contender year in, year out? And let's just be honest. Do we even think of Oregon? Yes, Oregon has been in a playoff, in a national championship game before and got destroyed, right? And since then, they haven't even made it, right? They haven't made it back, right? I mean, Marcus Mariota was their last hope, and they've had nice uniforms. They've got nice amenities, but is it enough, right? With USC hopefully getting back on top of things because they've been on the bottom. I mean, as a USC fan, listen, we have high expectations. You know, winning conferences is not a big thing for USC Trojan fans. We want to see national championships. We want to see Heismans. We want to see all the national recognition that we can get. And honestly, we haven't had that in quite some time. There've been guys. Lane Kiffin gave it a stab, didn't work out for him. Steven Sarkisian didn't work out for him. Ed Orgeron was an interim at one point. He ended up not getting the job, went to LSU. You know, the story goes on, right? Then, Clay Helton, honestly, great guy, it seems like, but was he the guy for the USC football program? And the answer is no. And I've debated with people on several occasions that, listen, this job does not, it needs somebody with pop. It needs somebody with pizzazz, not just some random dude from the Midwest, no offense to the Midwest, but some random coach that has a nice winning program that they do good. It's not a big expectation. Now, Luke Fickell, the head coach of Cincinnati, he was rumored to come to USC. I was against that because I don't feel like he would fit the demographic here in LA. Coaching Cincinnati and then coaching USC is night and day. Granted, Cincinnati is a better football team right now, but how long is that sustainable? How many kids want to be recruited and go to Cincinnati? They're not going for the chili, right? Okay. So here's the thing. Luke Fickell, James Franklin, another guy who he's had some roots in the SEC, Vanderbilt coach, if I'm not mistaken. Then now he's at Penn State. He just signed an extension. And there's other guys out there. But I was very adamant about, listen, if you're not going to go out and try to get a guy like Urban Meyer, who may or may not be leaving the NFL this season, you have to find somebody that can bring life back to this organization, to this historic football powerhouse program. I mean, literally, they had 3 or 4 Heismans in 5 years at one point. Carson Palmer started it off. Matt Leinart, right? Reggie Bush, right? They won back-to-back national championships and almost had a third one if it wasn't for, Vince Young and his ass destroying that for Trojan fans. So listen, Lincoln Riley is the perfect fit for this school. He's young, he's energetic, he's vibrant. He's coming from a big-time program like Oklahoma, not Cincinnati. I mean, don't get me wrong, Penn State's been pretty good, right? Well, we already got a question already. Let's see what we got here. What's up, Dark Sage 91117? What's your question? But either way, this school needs to be back on top, and I think Lincoln Riley will be the guy. Now, offensively, he's going to get any and everybody, especially in California. That was one of the biggest problems for USC. They were losing guys to outside of the state. I mean, guys were leaving California and going to play elsewhere. You think about recently, in the last couple years, Bryce Young, Mater Dei. That's right in their backyard, Santa Ana, California. DJ Ungahalehi, right? St. John Bosco, that's Bellflower. That's right down the road from USC, right? So these guys are going, and they're going across the country to go and play. And there's probably been a Matt Corral, Ole Miss quarterback. He's playing Long Beach Poly product, right? There are a lot of guys from California is one of the largest states in the whole country, and it has some of the most and best talented football players outside of Texas and Florida and maybe parts of Ohio and Pennsylvania, right? And parts of the South as well, too. But these kids were all leaving because why? They look at SC and they're like, well, they play in the old Coliseum. Granted, the Coliseum is old. Coliseum was built like in 1932 or something crazy like that, right? They try to renovate it. USC's facilities aren't up to par. I would say maybe like a Oregon or something like that. But let's see. We got my first question here. He said, Dark Sage 9117. Appreciate the question. He says, I'm an Army fan, and this year we went 8-4 to be eligible for a bowl game. I know we can never win a national title again, but I'm always curious what people think about bowl games. Should Army be given a crack at a top 25 school? And my follow-up is how much does it improve the product when Army or Navy have good years and can match up a well? Okay, good question, man. Appreciate the question. Thank you so much. So in regards to Army, I'm a Navy guy, right? And we're probably gonna get blown out this weekend, okay? But listen, Army, for those of you who don't know, back in the day, the military schools, particularly Navy and Army, they ran college football. They were putting out Heisman contenders, and especially the Navy, right? Times have changed. Obviously, there's a higher standard. For those who don't know, the process to getting into these military academies are very strenuous and arduous. You have to get like a senator to write you a letter. You have to have really top grades, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. So a lot of the top athletes today, they're not going to go to those types of schools. Special kids that want to play football, but also want to serve their country at the same note will go and play at these military academies. And this is including Air Force, Army, and Navy. Army has had great success in the last couple of years. Now, they for like almost a decade, they sucked really bad, but they've been able to figure out the head coaching situation, and they're back on track. Now they'll be bowl eligible, and honestly, they probably will win their bowl game, right? But the fact of the matter is, I don't think they can ever be really considered a maybe top 25, but anything above 15, it's kind of pushing it because they don't have necessarily the top premier athletes like another team, another school, even like a USC, right? Perhaps. Okay. But it is good for college football. I think when Army and Navy are good, I think it shows that football at its purest form can be played, and you can be successful, and you don't have to worry about these guys, getting paid under the table, things of that nature. Because the kids that go there, they're going because they do love the game. And I'm not saying if you go to Alabama, you don't love the game. But those kids there, they know they're probably not going to make the NFL. They're going to be captains, lieutenants, majors, whatever the case may be in the military. So for them, it's a different threat, fabric of college football. And I think even the division, they're Division I, but those big time Division I schools, especially the coaching and their coaching staffs, they can appreciate what those guys have to go through in order to play every Saturday. So, I hope that answers your question. I appreciate the question. And then he wants to follow up here. It says, I know our teams have a different situation than everyone else, and we're not anywhere close to Alabama, Georgia's of the world, but I think we deserve a chance. Yeah, and they have played top 25 teams. Navy plays Notre Dame every year, and Notre Dame has been, in the top 10 at least every year since I can remember in the last 6 or 7 years under Brian Kelly. I know a couple of years ago they went down south and they played Auburn a few times. So they do get their chances. Now, they ended up not winning a lot of them just because in the end, those teams have better athletes. Listen, they're running like the wing T, flex bone, motion offense. So, it's hard to prepare for, but at the end of the day, talent, cream rises to the top. And I'm back on the USC tip. Look, there've already been kids decommitting from Oklahoma. Now, they haven't said they're committing to USC yet, but I'm pretty sure they will. Who knows? Maybe Caleb Williams, the true freshman quarterback who took over for Spencer Rattler, he might be trying to transfer. So we don't know. But I think right now for college football, this is good. This is good because they need the the Pac-12 to be relevant again. Because let's be honest, outside of Oregon, who cares about the Pac-12? No, I don't care, really. Like I said, Utah's a nice team. Arizona State is cute, right? Washington, they're in the Northwest somewhere. Who cares about them right now? It's Oregon. Stanford had a nice little run. They were never ever really to really cash in, those years when they had like Andrew Luck or Christian McCaffrey. They had some solid players, right? But that's another academic, high standard type of school. So they're not getting the type of recruits that maybe USC or these other schools might get, or Oregon, right? So it's just different. But Lincoln Riley, for sure. I'm not saying they're going to be a national champion next year, but for sure, they will run California again. USC has been losing a lot of kids to UCLA, Utahs of the world, Oregons. That's not going to happen anymore. If you're a quarterback, if you're a wide receiver, you want to play for Lincoln Riley. You just want, think about it. And not only even if you're a transfer, look what he's done with transfer quarterbacks. Baker Mayfield, Heisman. He transferred from Texas Tech. Kyler Murray, another transfer, Heisman winner. He transferred from, I believe, Texas A&M. Jalen Hurts didn't win the Heisman, but was a finalist. And look, he's in the NFL. All three guys are in the NFL right now, right? That's why Spencer Rattler went there. He's like, well, I saw what heck could happen with him. I can probably hit the league. Didn't work out for him because now Lincoln's left and now he's hit the transfer portal. But having USC back in the fold, hopefully look, nobody cares about college football west of the Mississippi anymore. They just don't. And that's a fact. Why? Because you're looking at the standings, you're like, it's always going to be Alabama. Clemson was in there every day. Georgia it's always the same teams, Ohio State. Now you have a team west of the Mississippi who is a strong candidate to represent. Because even after USC had fallen, the other teams from the Pac-12 did not represent very well. Washington made a college football playoff, but they got destroyed. Oregon made the playoff, I think, once or twice. They didn't put out a good showing. So they had their moment. USC is back, and behind Lincoln Riley, they will be dominant again. Not sure about the defensive side yet because, for what I know, Lincoln Riley don't really bring the defense, but he's bringing a high-powered, impactful offense. So, I was just telling my cousin today, before Lincoln Riley even got this job, I'm done. I was done with USC. Shout out to my dad, William Flowers. He says, go Army. Not this week, bro. It's go Navy. I was done with USC. I was totally done with USC. I didn't think they were going to make a real conscientious effort to go out and get someone legitimate. So, but one of my friends, he messaged me and he's like, hey man, Lincoln Riley, P-Star, if you're out there, man, shout out to him. He was like, Lincoln Riley's the head coach of USC. I was like, get out of here. Is this legit? So I go over to ESPN. I'm like, yeah, it's legit. The dude is going to be a head coach there. So I'm happy. I'm happy that USC is going to get this guy and they're going to start winning again. And I'm ready to go. So, all right, switching gears real quick. We'll head back to the college football in just a moment here, but I got to talk about one of the hottest teams in the National Football League, the New England Patriots, behind Mac Daddy Jones, coming off a big win yesterday. Big win against the Tennessee Titans, who are still without Derrick Henry, but still, they're one of the hotter teams in the NFL. They put on a performance, man. I picked them in the under 43 and a half. I believe they scored like 36 points. Mac Jones is playing incredible. He's not turning the ball over as much. They're throwing the ball. I think he threw for over 250 like yesterday. 250, lighting it up. Now, everyone said, their offense isn't that great. And who do they have out there throwing? Kendrick Bourne. Like, listen, man, we weren't saying that when Tom Brady was there. Well, they were saying it, but they weren't saying it like this. I'm not saying Mac Jones is Tom Brady. So pump the brakes there. I'm not saying that he's Tom Brady. But what I am saying is that, listen, they have something that most championship teams have, and that's a outstanding elite defense. In regards to interceptions or takeaways, top 5. Points allowed, top 5. Yards allowed, top 5. They may not get after the quarterback, but I will say Matthew Judon, the free agent that they brought over from Baltimore, he's doing his thing, right? J.C. Jackson is like, he's all over the place. If the ball's in the air, he's around the ball somewhere. And all they need to do is to continue to ride Mac Jones and the running game. Don't ask him to do too much. Their defense is so good that they can keep them in the game as long as they don't make mistakes. And historically, that's what Belichick teams do. You make the mistakes, they sit back and they reap off your mistakes. And that's exactly what they're doing. Now, they have a big AFC East matchup this weekend coming up against the Buffalo Bills, who are coming off an impressive Thanksgiving Day win against the New Orleans Saints. This one for sure is going to decide, I would say, who is really going to win this division. Now, these two teams will play twice in the next month or so, in the next couple of weeks, actually. So we're going to see them closely here. But my money right now is on the New England Patriots. Now, the Buffalo Bills have a great defense as well, but they just lost a big piece of their defense. Tre'Davious White out for the year, knee injury. He's out, right? Listen, when you have two good defenses like that, it's going to boil down to who can score more points. And right now, honestly, I didn't think the Patriots would score a lot of points, but they are scoring a lot of points. They're running the ball effectively. There's no reason why this team is not the best team in the AFC. Now, Baltimore right now per record is the best team, but listen, I watched that game last night and I knew it. They should have lost that game again. And Lamar Jackson gets bailed out again because the other team is inept to take advantage of his mistakes. Lamar Jackson is a great story. He's fun to watch. And yes, he's been more efficient with the football. But dude, there is times, I mean, he threw what, 3-4 interceptions last night, and you still win the game? That doesn't happen if you're playing a competent team. If he does that now to against a team like the Kansas City Chiefs who are playing better, or hell, even the Patriots will win that game walking away. A lot of people still love Lamar Jackson. They still think I'm hating on him. The guy has not proven anything to me yet when it matters. This is all fun and games right now, but we're coming down to the end of the season, the last couple of weeks of this year. And listen, you can't play football like that. They took away the running. They only scored 16 points, if I'm not mistaken, last night. 16. What happened? And I'm not saying, look what happened to Dak the last couple of weeks, right? So, and trust me, I've been on here giving him his fair blame, right? But everyone is, Lamar Jackson, he's so incredible. You got to have him. He's won 80% of the games since he's played. That's great. That's great. But watch, I guarantee you, they're going to come in the playoffs. They might even get the first round bye, right? Maybe. I don't know, because I think the Patriots are in line to do that. But let's just say they do. They'll get that bye. They'll play in the divisional round, and they're going to stink, and he's going to choke again, and we're going to be right back here next season talking about, how phenomenal he is, and I'm going to be right here saying, show me something in the playoffs, bro. Because right now, that's great. You're a great regular season quarterback. Yeah, you won an MVP. You won 80% of your games, but none of that matters to me at this point. And there are a lot of other quarterbacks in his situation, like a Dak, right? Guys that haven't proven much as far as team success. That's what I want to see from him. And I think the Patriots can go anywhere and play anybody. Their game travels. Some teams are only good at home. Some teams are they get on the plane and they leave their game at the tarmac. Bill Belichick is on record right now to be, he's one of the greatest NFL coaches we've had of all time. And I get it. Tom Brady won the Super Bowl last year, right? And maybe Belichick might be up to something. I'm not saying they're going to win the Super Bowl, but they have a legitimate shot. One thing we know about this season is that anybody can win. It's up and down every week, right? And my guy Bryson Carver, and he's a Lamar Jackson loyalist. It's no fault to him. Listen, he says Lamar is a top 10 quarterback in football. He threw 4 picks, but made the plays. Yeah, and that's fine. But you did that against the Cleveland Browns. When it matters, when you have to do it in the pressure situations. Look, there's at least 3 games they should have lost this year. They should have lost to Kansas City. Kansas City blew that. They should have lost to the Colts. The Colts blew that game as well. They should have even lost last night. What I'm saying is that you live so close to the edge like that, it usually comes around to bite you in what. All right. You are what you eat. You are a product of your environment. And if you live on the edge like Lamar Jackson does, you're going to run into the wrong team that's going to say, thanks for the 4 interceptions. We're going to blow you out by 50-something points. Now, the Browns are not equipped for that, although they should be. But the quarterback play is something, is undesirable at this point in time. So we won't talk about that. He's definitely a top 10 quarterback. I've never said that he sucks and he's not a good quarterback. But I just don't get caught up in this. Oh my God, he's so great. He's revolutionized the game. There's been guys like him. Michael Vick changed the game the way quarterbacks are being played today. But how much success did Michael Vick have in the postseason? That's what I'm saying. That you want to talk about legacies and building something. That's where you have to hang your hat on, is in the postseason. You can win a lot of awards. You can do a lot of things in a regular season, but I'm saying throwing 4 interceptions in a game, that's not gonna do anyone any good. And we're gonna be right back here again saying, oh, you know what? He's still a great player. I'm not denying that he's not a great player. He's a tremendous player. He's fast. He's worked on his throwing ability. He needs to improve a little bit better. But there's some throws last night I'm just like, I don't get it, man. Maybe I'm just crazy and I need new glasses, but I'm not buying into. I don't buy into a lot of hype all the time. Same thing with the Rams, and it's still early. And I know Rams are on the docket tonight, but listen, the Rams to me, they're just they're trying to win. They're trying to buy a championship. Okay, they're not sustainable. Von Miller did nothing yesterday. Jalen Ramsey really couldn't stick Devontae Adams if he wanted to, right? Aaron Donald had no sacks. And let's be real, their defense is not even in the top 10. And you would think they would be. OBJ had a touchdown, but it was kind of like a busted coverage. Matthew Stafford, please, he's Jared Goff 2.0. If we're being real out here tonight. So listen, they could probably they can fix things. I get that. But as right now, when they got Von Miller, everyone's like, oh my God, oh, they're gonna win a Super Bowl. And it's just like, oh my, relax, people. This is football. Unlike any other sport, man, it takes a while to get involved and get right in someone's system. Von Miller is not the same guy he once was. He may be good for a pressure here and now and then, and maybe a sack here, but he's not the guy. Jalen Ramsey's nice, but he can be beat. Okay? He can be beat. Maybe he'll lock up your one, but what about the rest of your secondary? Okay? OBJ may never even get it all together when he's in LA. Who knows? But all I'm saying is, only thing that matters at this point, when you're a good team or a good player like Lamar Jackson, it only matters in the postseason. And one thing to circle back around to Belichick, he's gotten it done. Now, he hasn't gotten it done with Tom Brady. We're going to see with him too. If they can ride this wave, maybe take the number one seed, and we'll see what happens there. But listen, that's all I got to say about that. Patriots to me are the best team in the AFC by far right now, at least this week, until someone else proves me wrong. I don't trust the Ravens. I don't trust them because if they play a competent offensive team that can move the ball, they're going to get scored upon. They're going to get scored upon, and Lamar Jackson cannot play from behind that well. And now he's done it in the past, and those teams have messed up. Let's see. Bryson says rookie quarterback has never been to Mac Jones. That's not true. Dan Marino made it to a Super Bowl and never went back his rookie year. If I'm not mistaken, you can check that stat. He lost to the 49ers. It was played in the old Stanford Stadium. He made it his rookie year and never saw it again. So you could double check that for me, but I'm pretty sure I'm right on that one. But Belichick is coach of the year. Oh yeah, he's definitely. If he's not the coach of the year, he's up there. Now some people are saying Matt LaFleur is coach of the year. I don't know. That's mostly Aaron Rodgers. Belichick is doing a great job this year. And I know he didn't win the Super Bowl and Brady got the Super Bowl, but to me, that doesn't diminish him being a great coach. This even improved, this enhances the fact that he can coach because he doesn't have a team laden full of superstars. He doesn't, especially on the offensive side, right? They're just getting it done through scheming and strategy. So yes, absolutely. All right, back to college football. Listen. Michigan finally beat Ohio State. Wow. A lot of you Michigan fans have not been able to say that in at least 10, 11 years. At the top of the show, I said Denard Robinson was the last quarterback. Denard Robinson, remember little Denard Robinson didn't play quarterback in the NFL, got drafted by Jacksonville Jaguars. Don't know what happened to him in the end. Listen. Yeah, he said, oh yeah. Yep, Dan Marino. Yep, I figured that one. I remember that one. But listen, this is a big win. Now, look, Jim Harbaugh, I thought it was on the hot seat, but I think unfairly because he's had seasons of 10 plus wins a couple times since he's been there. And I get it. He's not good against his rivals, against Michigan State and specifically Ohio State. This is his first win. Now I think he's been there, 7, 8 years now, if I'm not mistaken. And this is your first win against Ohio State. I mean, the way they were acting, it was like they've been beating Ohio State every week. Relax, people. Relax. Good win. I think it was a good win, not only for the state of Michigan, it was a good win for college fans all around. Jim Harbaugh will walk the sidelines of Ann Arbor for quite some time now, especially after this win. And if they win and they beat Iowa and they get into the college football playoff, he's locked in for another 10 years. Unless something crazy happens and the team just goes from winning 10 games to 5, 4, 3, 2, 1 games, whatever, which I don't foresee that happening. Michigan, you have a good coach. If you don't have a guy in mind to replace him that is a surefire win, you don't get rid of the guy. And honestly, if you think about it, who else could you bring in to coach Michigan that wouldn't do any better than Jim Harbaugh? There really isn't, and unless you get a Lincoln Riley, a guy of that caliber, or Nick Saban, a guy of that caliber, or Dabo Sweeney, somebody like that. And Nick Saban ain't leaving. Dabo ain't leaving. Obviously, Lincoln left. But listen, the win against Ohio State, man, it really shook up college football because why? Alabama's down this year, right? Georgia seems like the outside favorite, or no, actually not the outside, the favorite to win it all right now. And my dog is moving around behind me. I don't know what he's doing. Hey, Chico, get out of here. Get out of here. Let's see, he's moving around. Get out of here. Sorry. But live TV, folks. But anyway, so listen. The fact of the matter is, we've been so used to the South running it, and even Ohio State's been up in Ohio State's been in the college football playoff quite a bit, right? Since the inception of it. To see them not even having a sniff at it this year is almost refreshing. And I hate to sound like that because they're Ohio State fans, maybe that watch the show, whatever. I don't know. But we needed something like this because college football to me has just been kind of stale. It's the same teams over and over and over and over and over again. And if you don't live in the South or you live in the Midwest, Ohio area, you don't care about college football. You don't. On the West Coast, we don't care about college football that much because none of the teams are relevant. Now we have some relevancy, especially with Michigan winning this game. And hopefully moving forward, Michigan can continue to build upon this because at the end of the day, this was not a rivalry in the last 10 years. It's not a rivalry when the other team doesn't even win. Okay, they went 10, 11 years and had not beat Ohio State. Think about that. That's a long time, man. So some of you were in high school, some of you were in junior high. I don't know. You were in different phases of your life right then and then till now. So this was a good win for college football overall. I'm excited. Jim Harbaugh, he deserved the win. They were just a better physical team than Ohio State was. And Ohio State, not to say they weren't great, they were coming in hot. I mean, one of the top offenses, CJ Stroud, have been playing really, really well. But Michigan was just ready for it. The moment was theirs, and they seized it. So congrats to them. Hail to the victors. Hail to the victors, right? I don't know the rest of it because I'm not from that area, but that's all I know is hail to the victors. So hopefully they can do it again. They got to go to the Horseshoe next year, but they should be ready to go. And if they got that kid Hassan, what's his name? Hassan Haskins, I think his name is. That offensive line was phenomenal. I mean, let's just talk about that for a second. I mean, they were people movers. So, but again, Michigan finally beats Ohio State, man. Like I said, Denard Robinson was the last quarterback to beat Ohio State. That's a long ass time. That is a long ass time. All right. Final topic before I get into clutch, not so much segment before I close out the show, man. Look, NBA season we're almost, I won't say the halfway point, but we're almost here to the Christmas games, which is kind of like a good midway section to kind of see where everyone's at. And honestly, right now, the two best teams are the Golden State Warriors and the Phoenix Suns. Hands down. I don't want to hear about the Nets, and I don't want to hear about anybody else. I mean, Phoenix is riding, a 16-game winning streak. The Warriors are 18-2. Steph Curry playing out of his mind. He's the early MVP right now. Maybe KD could put him in that category. But Steph Curry, I mean, listen, I doubted them. And I'll talk about the Suns here in a second, but I doubted Golden State. A year ago, I said, you know what? It's over for them. They're not going to be the same. We don't know how Clay's going to be. They don't have a bench, but somehow, some way, their GM, their front office, man, they were able to get James Wiseman, who we haven't seen it all this year. He's in the G League with Klay Thompson right now, rehabbing. Jordan Poole, you go ahead and get Gary Payton Jr., Toscano, Iguodala comes back, who's a veteran, but he's still providing very valuable minutes into this lineup. Draymond Green is playing better than anybody else that I can say as far from the defensive side of the ball. This team, and the way they move the ball, the head coaching, Steve Kerr, tremendous job so far. This team is one of the best teams, if they are the best team. I think I slightly have them over the Suns. I really do, because I like their guys more so than the Suns at the end of the day. Now, let's talk about the Suns. The start of the season kind of rough, but have won 16 straight. Devin Booker playing really well. Chris Paul, again, having another solid season. My fear with him, though, is he starts to wear down towards the end of the year, including especially in the playoffs. Not sure how far they made it to the finals last year, and they came up short. And why? Because he didn't play well down the stretch. So not sure how they're going to do. But look, the Lakers to me, and I'm not trying to really make this about the Lakers. They're struggling. They're still struggling. You're barely beating teams like the Pistons. You lose to triple overtime to the Kings. The Westbrook deal, I mean, it's not working out. It probably never was going to work out. And the reason why I bring up the Lakers is because you look at their roster and then you look at the Golden State Warriors, the Phoenix Suns roster. It's night and day. On paper, the Lakers have a Hall of Fame team. I mean, literally, they do. I mean, LeBron, AD, Westbrook, okay, Carmelo, right? Dwight Howard, right? Rondo, right? He's a Hall of Fame. You got 6 potential Hall of Famers on your team. But in today's game, it doesn't work like that. Golden State, Phoenix, what they did really well is they have a mixture of young, middle-aged, and older veterans on their squad. And their superstars are pretty much are fairly young. Now, I think Steph is in his 30s. Booker, I think, is under 30. But you pair him with the Chris Paul, DeAndre Ayton, they're gonna do some things, man. So by far, I mean, really, I'm not gonna spend a lot of time about this, but listen, it's clear. If you don't think these are the 2 best teams in the NBA, I don't know what you're watching. You may not even be watching the NBA. You may be watching some Russian basketball league, but these 2 teams are the best teams in the NBA by far. And I don't see any. It's gonna. That's the Western Conference Final, and whoever wins that probably could win the whole championship. And my bet right now is the Golden State Warriors. I really do, because I feel like if they say the Bucks, and the Bucks have won a lot of games here, and I think they're like on a 7-game winning streak as well. Say they match up, I think the Warriors really match up well with the Bucks. The Bucks are a good team too. That would be interesting, because I would love to see Steph Curry go off and even Giannis play. But I think Draymond can maybe slow him down a little bit, frustrate him. Draymond is a very good defender. I wouldn't say he's the greatest of all time, but he's top 5, man. He's top 5. After watching him play a couple nights, I have to give him credit. He's a great defender. If not top 5, top 10 defender of all time in the NBA. And that's saying a lot, because we've had a lot of great defenders come through this league. So I don't know. That's just what I think about that. So anyway, all right. We're almost going to get out of here. We got about 3 more minutes before I'm out of here. This part of the show is clutch or not so much. So basically, things that happen over the weekend, whether it's a player, scenario, team, if you came up big, whether it's a win or you just did something really good, you on the clutch side. Now, if you look like a fool, kind of like Shaq and the Fool, you did something dumb, you didn't come through, guess what? You're not so much. So my first candidate today is Hassan Haskins, running back from Michigan. I mean, 5 touchdowns. 5 freaking touchdowns against Ohio State. Here's just a couple of them you'll see here. I mean, the dude was just playing out of his gourd, man. What's going on here? All right, well, guess not cooperating with me today. Yeah, I mean, 5 touchdowns. I mean, it is what it is. Sorry, the video wasn't working. That's a lot, and he single-handedly beat Ohio State. Now, his offensive line had a lot to do with that, but he was running the ball. Shout out to him. Not so clutch. I got to give it to the Philadelphia Eagles. You had a chance to close the gap between you and the Dallas Cowboys. You got the Giants, who really aren't playing that well. Just fired their offensive coordinator, Jason Garrett. Daniel Jones not looking like the guy, and you lose. Sorry, Eagles. You suck. Not so clutch there. Clutch. Steph Curry, what else do I say? Big game against the Clippers yesterday afternoon. I believe he hit like 7 3-pointers. And he hit 100 3-pointers already for the season, if I'm not mistaken. So, and they got the dub. So that's a big win. That's a big win for the Golden State Warriors. And they continue to roll. And Steph Curry is the front runner for the MVP right now. And finally, hopefully, I swear to God, I hope this video works for me. My boy, your boy, Kirk Cousins. Hopefully you guys got to look at the clip. Hopefully it works. Come on. If you don't know, this guy was literally under the center yesterday. Under the center. His running back had to move him. And the clip's not working. I don't know what's going on. Maybe it's my internet connection. But Kirk Cousins, man. I don't know what's wrong with this guy. He's something else. And I wish I could see the whole, but you get the gist. You get the gist. I mean, he's not a bad quarterback, but it's stuff like that that makes you be like, dude, what are you doing, bro? He's won a lot of games in the National Football League. Obviously, he had the better career than RG3. They were drafted the same year to the same team. But there's something about him that you will never be able to win anything significant with him. And unfortunately, Vikings fans, this is who you have until they decide his replacement. But stuff like that, lining up under the guard. And I get it was like a frantic situation trying to stop the clock, but you've been lining up behind the center all game and somehow you forget. I just don't get it. So, but anyway, that's it. That's all I got. I'm out of here, man. Hope you guys enjoyed the show, man. I had a good time. Thanks to you guys being in the chat room tonight. We got Carving It Up, Bryson Carver, William Flowers, Dark Sage 9117, man. Appreciate you guys in there. Be on the lookout for my next show, NFL Sunday Morning with me at 9 a.m. right here on Facebook, YouTube, and Twitch streaming. 9 a.m. noon Eastern Standard Time. Basically, we're going to be going over the games before they happen and some news and some notes from around the league. And I'll give you my picks, which I'm not proud of right now. I'm not doing so well. But anyway, that's it. That's all I got. So make sure, hit up the YouTube channel, subscribe to that channel, man. Right now, I appreciate that. But that's all I got, man. Hope you guys enjoy the rest of your evening. And as usual, this is Clutch Sports Talk Live with me, Ryan Flowers. Never settle till the work is done. Let's go.